안녕하세요, 안녕하세요, hey, it's Natalia, and guys, it is finally time. I am finally ready to share with you what I've been doing since I finished my time as a Korean language student back at, the end of August, so about 7 months ago. Yes, so as a quick recap, I moved here in August of 2021 to study Korean intensely at Korea University's Korean Language Center. I graduated from the program in February of last year, a very long time ago, literally almost a little over a year ago now. Yeah, and then I took an additional 2 semesters of super advanced Korean language classes that are only available to people that graduated from the program. It's a little confusing. I documented everything through vlogs, so you can check out the playlists in the description box if you want to know all the ins and outs of that. I know so many of you guys have had so many questions. You guys have been asking me for months what I am doing here in Korea, how I managed to stay here. Some of you guys have congratulated me for being a GKS scholar. Some of you have sneakily tried to ask me if I married a Korean and am now on a wifey visa. And I want to say the majority of you have just gotten accustomed to being very confused and in the dark about my situation. But that ends today. That ends right here, right now, with this video. So after lots of stress and waiting and more stress and more waiting and more stress and more waiting, the dust on my situation is finally settled so that I can be open with you guys about what I'm doing here in Korea months later. Okay, I'm not stressed. Why are you? I'm not stressed. I feel like I'm a little nervous and it's really not a big deal. So I got a job at a Korean skincare company. I'm sorry, now that I say it out loud, it's really not a big deal, but I feel like because I've been hiding it for so long that it feels very I should be really nervous and afraid or something. But yeah, I got a job in the marketing department of a Korean skincare company. Why am I laughing? Okay, so I'm not gonna say which company I work for various reasons, but if I do my job well, those of you that are interested in Korean skincare will most likely find out where I work. So if you, I'm sorry, I'm still laughing, I need to calm down. If you happen to find out where I work, just consider yourself an insider, a groupie if you will, and just keep it to yourself for now, okay? I'd like to at least pretend that I can keep my employer private. So I have been working full-time at my company for 2 months now, and guys, I love it. I know we hear all these negative things about working in Korea and the work culture and it being toxic and all these negative things. And as someone who was living in Korea for over a year before actually starting this job, I was very aware that the things we hear online are true. My Korean friends that are 회사원, yeah, they call themselves slaves for their company. And they're not being comedic, they're being serious. And the few foreign friends that I have that managed to get jobs outside of teaching have had very similar experiences to the Koreans. So I am very aware that my situation is an outlier, that my experience is an outlier, but I love my company. I love my job, I love my coworkers. It's great. I love it. I am very happy at my job. Oh my god, this feels a little cringy, but it's true. I'm very convinced that this is the best job that I could have gotten. I mean, unless I were to get a job where I could work with J-Hope on a regular basis, and obviously that would win. And everybody at my company, maybe not everybody in my company, but everyone in my team, everyone in my particular office area knows that. So guys, I have a reputation in the office as the girl that really loves J-Hope. And maybe I should be embarrassed by that, but I'm not. Going back to my job, so I basically plan and implement various digital marketing campaigns while also assisting in marketing events and product collaborations. So if you're not sure what that means, just think social media marketing, influencer marketing, partner marketing, event marketing, celebrity marketing, etc, etc, etc. Natalia be doing so many things. Natalia be working on so many projects. Oh my goodness, I am a part of so many so many exciting projects to where I will be in a meeting and I'm like, how did I get here? What am I doing here? How? Somebody tell me, how did I go from being like a 14-year-old kid who stumbled on an orange caramel video one evening to like living and working in Seoul in a Korean skincare company affecting major projects and collaborations? I don't know, I feel like I have this like at least once a week where I am sitting somewhere in the office and being like, how did I get here? Like, I don't know, I feel like I'm so like all the time. I wish I could give you guys more specific examples of what I do at work, what kind of projects I'm on, so you could like better understand why I'm like all the time. But because so many of the projects that I'm on are not necessarily confidential, but like haven't been announced publicly or anything like that, I feel like it'd be smart for me to keep my mouth shut. Basically just know that Natalia is living her best 회사생활 right now and is thriving, loving the work she's doing. Jazz hands. Now I would like to try and answer what I am assuming are your guys's like top 4 to 6 like questions about like my situation and how I got here and like why I didn't tell you guys sooner and stuff. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so what language do you speak in the office? English and Korean. So when I first started my job, my training, my onboarding, all of that jazz, all the HR stuff was done in full Korean, which was like really, really exciting for me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, going into work that first day, I was terrified. Like, I was excited to be there, but I was also terrified because they chose me, but like, is my Korean gonna be good enough? Like, what if I don't understand? What if it's too fast paced for me? Like, I was terrified, but it was fine. Like, my Korean was good enough to understand what's going on. I was good enough to, or like my Korean is good enough to understand like my HR documents and things like that, like read my emails, God bless. So I specifically work in overseas marketing. So the people that I work with on a daily basis all speak fluent English. And the work that we are producing is like targeting markets outside of Korea, right? Like, that's what overseas marketing is. So the work that we do is mainly in English, or like the end result is in English. However, like, I wouldn't say the main language in the office is English, because it's not. I would say it's pretty 50-50 with English and Korean, mainly because like we are a Korean company in Korea that does business with other Korean companies. Everyone in my office, with the exception of 2 people, me being one of the 2 people, is Korean. Our meetings, sometimes they're in Korean, sometimes they're in English. My reports, if I'm writing them just like for my team, I'm gonna write them in English. But if I am writing a report that is going to be sent to like other departments or to our parent company or just like external, somewhere outside of our company for whatever reason, then I'm gonna write it in Korean. Why did you wait so long to tell us about your job? And what visa are you on? So I was verbally offered the job back in August, so a long time ago, and then was formally offered the job at the end of September of last year. And if you guys do the math, the end of September and when I started my job on like February 1st, there's a big gap. There's a really big gap, and that is because we had so many issues trying to get my visa. So I'm currently on an E7, or a foreign national of special ability visa that is sponsored by my employer. And like, the process for getting this visa was honestly awful. There were so many documents that we needed to submit. I needed to contact my previous employer and get them to like sign some certain documents, get them like notarized and then apostilled. I needed stuff from my university back home in the USA. There were so many things that I had to submit, as well as my company. Like, my company had to submit like a stack, like a sincere stack of forms to prove that like, yes, they could sponsor me, yes, they're eligible. So getting all those documents together took a long time. We went into immigration one time to apply for my visa, and the immigration officer told us that we could not apply that day, that we needed to wait a whole month before we could apply due to some like bureaucratic stuff. Basically, it took us like 4 months to get this dang visa issued. And I didn't want to tell you guys like, oh, I got a job, oh my goodness. And then either like the visa not be issued because of immigration saying like, no, we're not gonna give her that visa, because they can deny your visa if they think you aren't qualified to do the job that the company has hired you for, even if the company thinks you are a good candidate for the job. Also, with it taking such a long time, I'm not gonna lie, I was really scared that my employer was gonna just like drop me and be like, hey, like as much as we want to work with you, this is taking way too long and we're gonna have to move forward with another candidate. Like I was sincerely concerned that was gonna happen. So it would have just been really awkward, Taco, for me to be like, I got a job. And then a few days or a few weeks later being like, haha, no, I didn't. And even once I got the visa and started working, right? Because I said I've been working for 2 months now. I didn't feel comfortable telling you guys because I am technically on a 3-month probation like period. So you guys might have heard that in Korea it's very difficult to fire someone without getting sued. Because of that, Korean companies, like when you start working, you go through a 3-month probationary period where at the end of 3 months, they can decide to basically let you go, and it like lowers the risk that they'll get sued because it's like built into the contract. Like I don't know the ins and outs of it, but basically this is an extremely common thing in Korea. And because I was terrified going into this like corporate job, like I didn't know what the work culture was gonna be. I didn't know if my Korean was gonna be good enough. There was all these unknowns, especially working in a foreign country where I didn't know if I was gonna cut it. So I kind of wanted to wait until the 3 months was over to be like, okay, it's official. I have officially gotten a job. I'm staying here at this job. My company is giving me very strong indicators that they're not gonna like push me out the door at the end of next month. Also, they know I'm making this video. Is your company hiring other foreigners? No. I quite literally asked my company a few days ago if we were hiring anyone because I know quite a few people that are graduating from KU this semester, and you know, I kind of wanted to be like, hey, if we're hiring, I know people, but no, we're not hiring right now. What happened to your grad school plans? Okay, so if you have been watching my YouTube videos for like any amount of time, you probably noticed that I've constantly said that I want to go to grad school in Korea, and that one of the main reasons I was studying academic Korean, not just like everyday Korean, was because I wanted to go to grad school here. I've been saying that for over 4 years now, that was my goal. I really like debated talking about this with you guys because I'm still extremely sensitive about it, and I know even if I ask you guys not to ask me questions, not to make comments about it, not to DM me questions, you guys are gonna do it anyway. Not all of you, but some of you will do it. Before I get into this response, I'm gonna be very blunt in saying that if you leave a comment asking me questions, if you send me a DM asking me questions or making comments on this section of the video talking about my grad school plans, I'm either going to completely ignore you or delete the comment or delete the DM. I've explicitly just asked you, please don't ask me about it, don't comment about it, I don't want it, like, don't touch it. And so if you were to like do that, you're being disrespectful in like crossing the boundary that I explicitly set. So I'm telling you right now, if you do that, don't do it. Okay? Okay. So my original plan was to go to grad school in the fall of last year, which I very clearly did not do. A little over a year ago, so March of last year, I actually applied to graduate school here in Korea through GKS. So if you don't know what GKS is, it's a highly competitive full ride scholarship here in Korea. I was actually selected for the program. I was selected as a scholar, which is why some of you probably thought I was a scholar, because my name is on the scholar list for this scholarship. I'm not gonna go into like the whole application process and the ins and outs of the scholarship because this video is not about that. Because of the way the scholarship works, you are only allowed to apply to 3 universities, and of the 3, you are only allowed to apply to 2 high-ranking universities and then are forced to apply to at least 1 low-ranking university. I know that kind of sounds complicated. I'm not going to get into it, just accept it as it is. Despite the fact that I was awarded the scholarship, was selected as a scholar, I did not get into the universities that I actually wanted to attend, so I withdrew from the program. There's honestly so much more that went into my decision to withdraw from the program. I never said this in a video, but my plan since before I finished school, before I finished my undergraduate degree over 4 years ago now, was to apply to graduate school here in Korea through GKS. Everything I did was to follow the GKS guidelines, what I thought would make me a good applicant, and while that did technically pay off because I was selected as a scholar, I didn't get into the schools that I wanted to go to. So, I mean, there's so much more I could say about it, but like I said, I'm still extremely sensitive about it. I mean, I'm sure you guys can understand when I say I was working towards this for years. And then oh my god, I feel like I'm gonna start, oh my god, am I gonna cry? No. Okay, I'm sorry, I feel tears are starting to form. But to basically make it so far and then, oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Make it so far and then get cut. No, not cut because I got the scholarship, but not get accepted into the universities I actually wanted to go to. I'm gonna start crying. Okay, anyway, so basically, please do not ask me questions about it. Please do not ask me for tips about how to apply to GKS. I kind of just want to pretend it never happened. Like it was never something that my whole life was focused on. Okay, I know it's a really complicated application process. That was honestly hell. It was the most stressful time of my life. I don't want to have to relive it. In regard to whether I will apply to graduate school in the future, I really don't know. So because of the way the GKS scholarship works, if you are accepted to any of the universities that you applied to and then choose not to go, basically if you withdraw from the program like I did, you are not eligible to reapply in the future. If I were to go to graduate school now in Korea, I would have to figure out all the funding on my own. Whether that's I save money or I get scholarships through the school, I have to find that money elsewhere. And even with the scholarships that the universities offer, I don't think it would be enough for me to be able to comfortably become a student for the 2-year time that it takes to get a master's degree here. Not only do I not have the finances to do that, but I love my job. The whole point of going to school is to get a job. And one of the main reasons I wanted to go to graduate school here in Korea was so I would have a better chance at getting a job in Korea that wasn't teaching. I kind of just skipped that step and have a job that I really love. Even if I had the finances, it doesn't really make sense to leave the job that I love to go back to school to maybe get a job again. I'm not saying I won't apply in the future. I'm just saying based on my current situation right here, right now, I don't see it happening anytime soon. It's not needed. Now, I know you guys probably really want me to make a video talking about my experience job hunting, what I did to prepare, how I got the job that I love so much. And while I would love to make that video for you, I am not going to make any promises because as we have learned, I cannot fulfill these types of videos in a timely manner. I'm not gonna say what type of videos I'm talking about, but you know. So yeah, if you have questions, things that you would like me to consider when making that video, you can leave them in the comment section for me, and I will archive them for when I eventually make that video. Yeah. And then I guess just for context, for if you are going to leave questions, I did not apply to any teaching jobs. I did not look at teaching jobs. I only looked at jobs in marketing and supply chain because if you didn't know, my professional experience, my degree, my industry certifications are actually all in supply chain. So I looked at positions in both areas and then just ended up in a marketing position. Now, I would like to say that because I am now working full-time, I don't think I'm going to be posting as many videos for you guys. I think maybe it'll be 1 or 2 videos a month. Maybe. In February, I literally posted 0 videos. As much as I love my job, I come home exhausted And when I do have energy, I would like to try and spend it like hanging out with my friends, attempting to maintain my social life. I guess I will see you guys in the next video. So, tell me bye, you guys.